I was about to make a Trump joke, and then I was like, that's not good.
You found a joke you won't make?
Yeah, it was Asia, same. It's not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. I was going to do it in the Trump voice. It's just, yeah.
Well, you're not making that as a terrific idea, Waz. You know what? Let's go back to Hayward Workman.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Who was called Hayward Buckman before we started recording because he's sick of three-pointer.
Bring him back.
Good news is you got the Magic against the Celtics, so only one team will be.
You goddamn right. Bring back Gary Trent's dad.
Gary Trent Sr.?
Back. Yeah.
Oh,
he never
man,
shot a three. Look up his 3-point.
Maybe I would guess less than 10. I would guess less than 10. Those had to have been heaves, right?
Bring him back.
He took 50.
Wow.
4 for 50, 8%.
4 for 50.
8%. Let me see. Do they have the heave number on his? No, they don't. 3 heaves, according to it says 3, but it's got 4 listed. That doesn't make any sense.
4 for 50.
So allegedly 46 legit attempts that weren't heaves. He was getting them up, man.
Bring that back. Okay. Bring the Davis boys back.
He was taking them in Portland. He took some everywhere. Dallas didn't really let him shoot. He didn't spend a lot of time in Dallas though.
Because
I got to be honest. I didn't think the heart of the play-in tournament talk for us was going to start with Gary Trent Sr. needs a return and what was his 3-point attempts. I didn't see that coming. I'm prepared for a lot of different tangents we can go on. I didn't see Gary
Bring
Trent
that back.
Sr.
Bring back Chris Dudley. Bring that back to the league.
There's so many TikTok videos. It's not just the Shaq one of Chris Dudley getting dunked on. He's in so many highlight videos on the wrong end of it.
Yeah.
He had a career, though. He was a tough dude. Like, he fouled the shit out of people.
Every time he would get Knicks minutes, I would just be like, what does Chris Dudley do?
He's tall.
Like,
he's tall, he's strong, he will foul you.
The claim to fame is Shaq throwing a ball, or are you throwing a ball at Shaq after he dunked over you?
He dunked on Shaq, like put his crotch in him, right? Like put his crotch in his chest. That's how bad, like it's one thing to like, all right, your crotch is in your face because you got dunked on. To then like thrust your crotch into someone's chest as you're hanging off the rim, swinging off the rim.
Not nice.
That's disrespectful.
If you didn't miss it the first time, here's the second round.
You don't get to hump my chest after a dunk. That's not okay.
We think of like Bismack Biyombo as like, pretty much
start the show banner.
Yeah. As pretty much one of the most unskilled bigs or whatever. Like when he has the ball, like, it's like he's got oven mitts on or whatever. Chris Dudley was worse than that. And wasn't athletic.
Welcome to the Do You Believe Basketball Illuminati episode of the week here on the Count the Dings Network. I'm honest podcaster Zach Harper. That's proud American Wosny Lambre. That's Mo Dakhil. Do you believe we will start the show, Maze? Yes, we will. This is the addendum episode to the regular Basketball Illuminati episode with Tom, with Maze, with Amin.
Sorry, Maze.
Make sure you check out Mo's Twitch stream. Make sure you check out us tomorrow.
Yes.
6:30 Eastern?
No, 5:30 Eastern.
5:30 Eastern on NBA app, YouTube NBA channel, all NBA socials. It's me, it's Mo, it's Alexis Morgan. We will be doing the pregame show leading you up to the 8th seed battles in the play-in tournament. Make sure you check it out. Woz, he's all over the Ringer podcast. He's all over Spotify. He's all over Max. He basically just owns the Ringer now. Shout out to him. He let Zach Lowe come onto the Ringer and do some podcasts.
I had to personally approve that acquisition.
Personally approve it. He gets 10% of whatever Zach gets now. So that's part of the grift. He's also putting on Fire Festival 3. And then check out The Bounce, free newsletter from The Athletic, theathletic.com/The Bounce. That is from yours truly here. All right, let's get into our first topic, boys. Do you believe there can really be an upset in the West? Other than the Thunder, we got the Warriors against the Rockets. We got the Wolves against the Lakers. The Clippers against the Nuggets. Would you really be shocked if any of those were upsets in the West? Aren't those upsets at all? Rockets won 4 more games than the Warriors. 3 through 6 are 1 game apart. Mo, do you think any of those outcomes are actual upsets?
I don't think so. It's just one of those things. This is incredibly tight. The only thing I hesitated for a second is like, maybe Denver would be an upset just because all the chaos, new coach, whole situation.
The 4 seed over the 5 seed would be an upset.
Yeah, that's the part that's crazy, right?
And the Clippers, someone beating the Clippers is an upset. We're new territory, right.
But it's like it's just with all the chaos that they have going with them. They fired their front office, they fired their coach. It's whole chaos, and then it's like 3 games before the playoffs. Maybe that'd be an upset if you think they could pull it together, but I don't really know if there's anybody else who's going to be an upset.
Yeah. Woz, what do you think? Are there actual upsets available in this Western Conference?
OKC losing to the 8th seed would legitimately be an upset. Yeah. It'd be like Seattle, Denver, Dallas, Golden State, Jimmy a bunch of times in the East. It'd be like one of those, but nobody thinks the Warriors beating the Rockets would be some crazy outcome. Do you actually think that's crazy?
I think people believe Wolves over Lakers is an upset.
No, it's not.
I think most people would believe that.
Have you watched the Lakers this year?
I think people believe LeBron, Luka. I think most people would believe that's an upset.
Yes.
They would look at Julius Randle. They would look at Rudy Gobert. Like, they like Ant, but they don't think of the Wolves in that way anymore.
The Lakers' best lineup has Rui Hachimura at center.
Yeah, agreed.
How is them losing in an upset?
Because they don't look at Rudy Gobert as a good player. They look at him the way Shaq and Draymond look at him, because that's the only people that talk about him. Yeah. They look at Julius Randle as a bum. They look at these guys as not good.
He's played better the last month.
When he came back from the injury, he's been phenomenal. This is the best basketball we've seen him play. He's like, even better than that year with the Knicks where he took 9 months off and all of a sudden was a good shooter.
He's
remember when COVID fixed his shot?
Well, until the playoffs.
until
it was still COVID in the playoffs and he couldn't shoot. I think he just come back more dedicated to distributing.
Yeah, he's just playing good basketball all the way around.
That surprises
good defense,
me.
Good decision making, good shooting. Yeah.
And you guys notice when people have contracts coming up, it's hard to get them to see the bigger picture.
That's true.
Because if you're Julius, the bigger picture is $150 million. That's the big picture.
I got my contract extension. I have not been trying since. I was doing a great job with the newsletter. Got that extension. Really mailed it in.
But before you got the contract,
I gave an award in the newsletter today for tallest player of the year.
That was before you got the contract, Zach. You were stepping on people on pods.
Oh man, absolutely.
You were scooping people on stories. You were just nasty work.
Absolutely, yeah. Not anymore. Now I'm just making shit up. Left and right.
You mean you were calling people around the league to get more stuff for your work?
Not anymore. I might send a text. I might.
No, you won't.
I might. 10% chance I'll send a text.
But yeah, the Lakers losing is not an upset.
I think the public would view it as such, especially after that Luka game against Dallas. But I think that's the only one, and it's borderline, right? Like, I don't think it's an upset. I think that Wolves team's really good. I think they've found a gear aside from that Bucks loss, which was obviously
just weird, fluky,
and hilarious. Like, it was actually a really funny loss. But aside from that one, I think this Wolves team has kind of found their stride over the last month, and they're in a really good place. That win against Denver, I get it. Denver's a mess and everything, but Rudy had fouled out. Julius Randle was playing with 5 fouls, having to guard Jokic for a while. And it was kind of fluky because of what Russ did, but that was a really good win, right? And I think that was kind of indicative of them finding ways to win in this last month. And so I think this Minnesota team's in a good place. But I also think the Lakers, I know they tailed off a little bit. I think the Lakers are kind of they kind of know what they are. You don't see Jackson Hayes in the fourth quarter much, and I think
they know their best lineup. Like you said, they know it's not Hayes on the floor. With all that stuff. I just want to go back to just the Denver thing. I think whether it's an upset, it's all related to how many minutes Russell Westbrook plays in crunch time.
Damn, man!
If they
win, we're back here with Russ, man. He was playing really well for a while.
I know, but I feel bad about it. But if you go if he's playing crunch time minutes and a heavy dose of it, and they win the series, that's an upset to me.
Yeah,
it's crazy the amount of good Russ we've gotten this year. It's so much more than we anticipated. I know a lot of people kind of snickered when what the Nuggets did last offseason was Russ and Saric, and rightfully so. Saric doesn't get off the bench, and Russ is Russ.
Was terrible. Yeah.
But he's shown so much of the good side of what he could bring. But more recently, the bad has been more pronounced than it was in the middle of the season. So, yeah. And the funny thing is, if reports are to be read, one of the reasons they had to get Mike Malone the hell up out of there is because the guy was addicted to Russ minutes. He was pooky on the Russ minutes. And
the alternative was Jalen Pickett, who's this young guy can't play. Or he can't be trusted, right?
Yeah.
But do you want Russ falling asleep on defense in the biggest possessions of the game?
Or missing a layup at the last second.
Or taking a pull-up long two while Jokic is on the floor in the last 5 minutes of it? Do you really want that?
I'd rather a veteran turnover than a rookie turnover or a young player turnover.
Listen, nobody hates young people more than I do.
Hold on a second. Who are you popping with right now? Hold on a damn minute. You put some respect on my resume. Hold on now.
Hate them. But hold on. Let me hold space for the hate that I have for the Gen Zers. But I don't know. What's the ideal Russ minutes allocation?
I honestly think you bring him off the bench. If he galvanizes you for the first 4 minutes off the bench, in that first quarter, you throw him the first 6 minutes in the second quarter, and then you kind of do that same thing. It's not crunch time minutes. It's not crunch time minutes.
So he just can't see
zero crunch time minutes.
Your crunch time minutes have got to be your starting lineup. That's just what it, right? It's Christian, it's Jamal, it's Porter, it's Gordon, it's Jokic. I get it. They've had injuries and stuff, but why is it not that lineup for sure? That's your best lineup.
Listen,
that's it.
Yeah,
if you're healthy in the playoffs, that's it.
But I do like that. It feels like Adelman has kind of been trying to cut his own path.
Yeah,
the rotation wise.
The weirdest Adelman thing though is him saying, "I don't like to use a whiteboard. I like to scribble things down on paper." I'm like, you can't do that during a game.
Paper. Messed up. Start over.
There's got to be a whiteboard during a game, right? That can't be. You can't do plays on a piece of paper.
Was he saying that's why Jokic was using a whiteboard? Or
yeah, he did. They were like, "Oh, we noticed Jokic," and then he was like, "Oh yeah, because I like to use paper," and so he was using a whiteboard and everything.
Do you think what actually happened is he went for the whiteboard and Jokic is like, "No, it's mine now," and then he decided, "Well, okay, now I have to just do it with the sheet of paper."
But then Jokic came out and said, "I wasn't drawing up plays; I was diagramming."
I think that's a translation issue.
Yeah, that might be
that's an ESL thing. I think that's what that would. All right, let's move on.
That's all right.
All right, hey guys, drawing up a play. I was just putting all the pieces in drawing them out and showing people where to stand. I wasn't drawing up a play.
Hey, do you believe the Bucks team doctors solved deep vein thrombosis? After being diagnosed on March 25th of 2025, today, Shams reported, Damian Lillard has been cleared of his deep vein thrombosis and is no longer on blood-thinning medication. Lillard is out for Game 1 Saturday against Indiana and will have a period of time to resume contact workouts and ramp up for return. Remarkable and historic development to clear from the blood clot in just over 3 weeks. Doctors have told Bucks officials this recovery has never been seen before, but occurred due to early treatment, detection, and specialists working on Lillard even before formal diagnosis. Okay, so I have talked to people who were talking to cardiologists. I have reached out to people that know cardiologists. I've reached out to a cardiologist.
Reporting?
This isn't reporting so much. I'm not like saying like
he spoke to everybody who spoke to people. It's more than
I did speak to a cardiologist.
Okay. Sorry.
A retired cardiologist. A retired cardiologist.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Okay.
But then also 3 other people who were texting cardiologists about this.
Okay.
How long ago was this guy retired? Like, how long has he been out the game?
5 years.
Okay.
Like within
terrible.
I think around like
pandemic took him out.
I think he retired right before the pandemic.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
yeah.
We're good.
And so the consensus from that was an assumption that this was most likely a superficial vein thrombosis and not a deep vein thrombosis, because the consensus was like, and there are obviously all the caveats of like, well, we didn't look at any of this stuff, so this is just what we would assume, right? So then none of this is like an actual diagnosis, just assumptions. But they're like, there's absolutely no way a deep vein thrombosis can be cured in this amount of time. You have to be on this medication for 6 months at minimum, right? But what if it was like a superficial vein thrombosis? Then it could be like dealt with in this manner of time. Maybe like this is where it would be possible, right? So if all that's true, why wouldn't you just say that? Because this to me seems like a weird way for the story to go, right? Again, these are all assumptions. None of this is diagnosis. These are all assumptions, but like they seem like relatively educated guesses from people who I'm assuming were and are pretty good cardiologists.
They announced the Dame thing on March 25th?
I believe so, yeah.
I think there's an idea that they detected that this might have been a problem the week before.
Okay. So we're talking like 3 to 4 weeks.
Right. And so in a week from... No, so like this week would make it a month.
Yeah.
And... so like from what people are saying, it's like there's a 4 to 6 week recovery window from like, I guess Dame was on the blood thinners for a week or something like that. And like once you get off of that, because blood thinners make it so that like if you do like heavy contact,
you get caught.
You can fuck yourself up.
You're in trouble. You're in real trouble.
Yeah.
It's why Chris Bosh wasn't allowed to come back on the floor because he was still on blood thinners. Had to be on blood thinners for forever.
Exactly.
If he was going to
there are people that are forever, on it, but there are people that are on it for
the rest of their life.
It's
so. I think what the thought is, if he got off of it a week after they told everybody, like the week that they told everybody is when he got off of it. Or I don't know, but like it's just like the 4 to 6 week time frame. But this would be the 4th week, which like no serious person is gonna be like, oh, let me come back to this team that has no chance of doing anything in 4 weeks and not do the 6th week of it, which would mean that they beat Indy, which they're not going to do.
Well, it just the whole thing is just makes me think like before I like found out this potential information, right? My whole thought was like, is this a good idea? That was my reaction. Like, why? What are we doing here? None of this seems like a good risk to me because I immediately just go into like, just fucking take care of your health. Very different situations, but like when Pop had the stroke and they're like, hey, you might come back and coach this year. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
like,
no reason.
Take care of your health. You're good, man. Like, we're good here. Now, whatever. Like, I have no idea what the fuck Dame's situation is. Like, I'm just going off what has been reported. So maybe he is fine. Like, hopefully he is fine.
Yes.
But this is just like, if it was a deep vein thrombosis, and they're like, we've never seen this before, this kind of recovery, I don't know. I would always err on the side of caution with this kind of thing.
Yeah, this is really crazy. And was to talk about the timeline. The last time he played was March 18th.
March 18th. So, okay. Yeah.
And then they announced it on the 25th. So he had missed like 4 games before they announced it, 3 or 4 games. And I think you're looking at it and you're saying like, okay, well, maybe it is 4 weeks or whatnot, but I'm with Zach. Like, this is a dangerous game we're playing with here. Like, this is a thing where if a blood clot travels to your heart, it's game over, man. Like, this isn't something that you can kind of fuck around with. And let's just not forget, he's got to fly a bunch, in the process in the playoffs.
Well, if they're playing Indy, he could drive, right?
I guess, but that's like
there's time between.
Hey, you get like an expedition or something, or a sprinter.
Sprinter van, yeah.
What about you? Can probably get a party bus.
You got an RV, man. Those RVs are nice these days.
The RVs are pretty sweet, actually. Yeah. When Elton Brand was with the Clippers, he had a massive van that he had a driver for, and then it had one of those satellite units, so he could work. He could do work while he was driving to and from practice when we didn't have a practice facility and we worked out of a Spectrum Health Club in
Put Dame on the Madden bus.
That'd be great. But I just think I think this is reckless. At the end of the day, without knowing, the doctors know more, look, obviously.
If they say it's fine, then I guess we have to assume it's fine, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine they would be willing to put him at risk.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this isn't one of those things of like KD says, hey, I want to play. I think my calf is fine. Let me play. Right. Like this is a completely different medical thing than, hey, you might tear your Achilles.
And weird happened with my thing. It was, I would say the other thing too is, at least with KD, and not that it was the finals, right? Or it was like, or the conference, it was the finals at that point, which isn't okay. But like, this team's not going to the finals. This team's not going. The risk reward.
Let's say they were. It's not his. It's his calf versus someone's life. Like, yeah, you're not dying from an Achilles tear.
That's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong, Zach.
Okay.
That's where you're wrong. Championships live forever. But that's where you're wrong. Kobe system. Get out of here.
Got it. Yeah.
But it's not even
Kobe have done.
If they
had came back 3 weeks ago.
Kobe would have just cut the blood clot out from himself and then kept moving. But like, I would
cut all this out.
I just think the other thing is like, if Dame was healthy for the start of all this, forget this whole blood clot thing ever happened.
Yeah.
It'd still be a tight series between them and Indiana. It's not like we would look at it.
I think they beat Indiana though.
I mean, Indiana's been the 4th best team in the league since 2025.
They've been killing people, but nobody respects it. It's weird.
I know it is weird.
That's the fun part.
It took me until like late March to notice. And I was like, man, Indiana's been playing really well the last month. And I was like, oh shit, the last 3 months. Like,
they've been killing people basically since January, and nobody respects
January 2nd, I think, was their first game in January.
So I just think when you look at it though, but like that's at least one of those where you're like, all right, this is a tight ass series. This is going to probably go 6 or 7, and that's with Dame healthy. So it's like we're really making a push for this. Like, what are you going to be?
I mean, look. I guess if he's fine, if he's cleared, and which is all we could go with. If they say he's fine, then I guess you have to go off that. When it comes to like that, I just get super worried about like when it came to like Osir Thompson or came to I remember covering the Heat when it was the Bosch thing, right? Like they had just traded for Goran, and then all of a sudden Bosch was done.
Yeah.
And he came back a little bit, and then they got it again. They're like, no, you're really done now. Like you can't come back. And there was like a whole argument between him and the Heat organization, but it was like, it's over. Like we're not going to put you back on the court. I think, and then the whole Wemby thing, like it comes to like, just, I think you have to be as cautious as possible, but I guess it's this unheard of, unprecedented recovery. I
I don't like the historical. I don't like the extra sauce they're putting on the report.
That's the part where I'm like, because to me, that's the part where they like, it feels like they leaked that out. Like they wanted that in there. And I'm like, I don't want this isn't like, man, this dude came back from Achilles in 5 months and we've never done this before.
You're almost like just playing with fire at that point too, right? Like, look at this great thing we've done. And it's like, well, let's just wait.
I'd rather be like, it's possible it was a superficial vein thrombosis and like, this is why we feel comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Right. If that's, if all that stuff is, possible, true, whatever. Do you think either of these teams can make the conference finals?
Yeah.
Which one?
You don't believe in Cleveland?
No, I just think if like you play out of your skull and make all your threes, these teams are good enough to win under those circumstances.
I don't think Milwaukee can.
Not without Dame.
Well, even with Dame, it just hasn't been. At no point this season have they. Well, that's not true. There was like a 13-2 stretch where they looked pretty good. The last 2 years, and I know there's been a ton of upheaval with them, and not just the Doc Adrian Griffin thing. Like they're just, man, it feels like someone. It just, and that's the weird thing. Like we talked to Eric Dame on the radio maybe like a month ago or something like that, maybe 2 months ago, I can't remember. But he had even mentioned at one point, he's like, the thing that surprised me during this Dame Giannis thing is that the pick and roll has not been as good as we thought it would be. And that is weird of like, why hasn't that clicked in that way?
Yeah, I think we all thought when the trade happened, we all thought that was the main thing. Was like sign us up for this and all that stuff. But the other thing too was
ask yourself this.
No. Real quick
go ahead.
The perimeter defense sucks.
Oh my God. It's the worst in the league.
I mean, like, you just like, I don't know.
I was watching the Bulls last night, Tyler Hero going 8 for 8, and I was like, this is Bucks level. Perimeter defense.
But I mean, like, that's why I don't believe in this team.
Yeah.
They have no ball pressure, nothing whatsoever. What I was going to say about the pick and roll never working, we got a guy with a decade's worth of track record of being an elite pick and roll operator. And then we got Giannis. Then we got Giannis. The guy is obsessed with his stats. He's impatient. I think he's delusional about how effective he's ever been just being a battering ram against real half-court defenses.
2-time MVP.
Again, even when it was working in Milwaukee, it's because they were playing literally record-breaking defense.
Finals MVP?
Even when they won the championship, they played record-setting defense. It wasn't because Giannis was some maestro on the ball. The guy, he's obsessed with his own individual success. It is what it is.
All right, let's move on to the last topic. Do you believe the Mavericks thought if they took away the cameras, reporters wouldn't remember what they said? All right. According to Shams, this was Patrick Dumont's decision. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Dallas Mavericks tried to hold an exclusive, sort of secret press conference. It's about 12 to 15 select media members. 12 if you don't count the
Can 15 people keep a secret?
The in-house Dallas Mavericks media. So this at first was no cameras, no recording, just a conversation in which the media people who were selected were like, and then they would provide a transcript. And they're like, nah, we're going to record this. It's fine to no cameras. Like, we should be able to record this. And so finally they said, okay. And so restricted the cameras. They were able to like record it, take notes, everything. Hours after the meeting, they released the transcript, but everyone had this. There is an excellent breakdown by Mark Stein, Tim Cato, and the DLLS guys on YouTube, about an hour and a half video podcast that it's highly worth your time. They've got timestamps everywhere, so you can kind of jump around, but it's incredible. At one point, Rick Welts, one of the executives, so it was Rick Welts and Nico Harrison doing this with the reporters. At one point, Rick Welts likened the Luka trade to when the Warriors, which Rick Welts was a executive for, traded Monte Ellis for Andrew Bogut all the way back in, I believe it was 2011. Nico repeatedly said defense wins championships about 5 times. He also said he had no regrets about that Luka Doncic trade. When asked, did you factor in Dirk's feelings when you fired Casey Smith? Nico responded, quote, my obligation is to the Dallas Mavericks. It's what the best interest of the Dallas Mavericks. And that's the most important thing. Some of those decisions are going to be unpopular, maybe to Dirk and maybe to the fans, but my obligation is to the Dallas Mavericks. So, guys, do you believe, and I'll just say it this way, the fuck? What happened? What are they doing? Why do this? Why do this like the day of or the day before?
Can somebody remind me why Rick Welts was invited to this?
What's think his role? Part of their business side.
They're trying to get, I think, a new arena built, and that's his job after what he did with Chase Center. I think I heard that somewhere. On
Rick Welts did Chase Center.
Was
part of it,
yeah, with the Warriors. So they brought him in to do it to try to get a new arena in Dallas. But he was also brought in to be a shield, if we're being honest, like to really help in this specific conversation. Brought in going like, Rick's here, so he'll just try to help out.
Rick is like a beloved figure throughout basketball.
Everybody loves him. Everybody gives him respect and all of that. So it's like you can't be too mean. If Rick's there is really, I think, what they were hoping for.
Yeah.
But did you know what the first question? Did you hear Tim McMahon's first question?
About
what was it?
Was just along the lines of like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was basically, what the fuck?
Mark Stein was like, on the pod was like, we did not want to participate in this. We were so against this, but Tim Cato was like, we decided like he should do this. Like we should kind of like, I guess, have one of us there or whatever.
Gotta be there to
Tim's recounting of it. Cause I mean, I love Tim Cato. Tim's like just one of the best. Christian Clarkson does a great job of covering the Mavs for us at The Athletic, but I fucking miss Tim so much. He's just hilarious and he's such a good reporter. But Tim throughout the whole thing as he like starts to read quotes of stuff he had taken down. It's so funny. That whole pod is so funny. It's so because like your team isn't out of. I mean, guys, like they play Friday, like they play for the 8th seed against Memphis in Memphis Friday night. I would even say like the question: do you believe they need this win for the 8th seed more than the Grizzlies do? Because the Grizzlies fired their coach 9 games left in this regular season. This team has been a PR disaster.
No. The Grizzlies have to make the playoffs. They were number 2 in the West.
Yeah.
They were 34-15.
Yeah.
Bro. They have to make the playoffs.
They finished not 34 and 50, 48 and 34. Yeah, that's tough.
I think it's the Mavs.
You'll reverse the rest of the season there. That's
oh no, man.
I think it's the Mavs. I mean, I think they need it desperately just so they can be like.
I think they have an out though with Kyrie blowing his knee out. I think they have
that's why I don't think it's the Mavs. It's like you can't win a game against these Mavs and your playoff life depends on it.
They haven't been able to win a game against anybody. It's not. I think everybody kind of understands the situation in Memphis
with the Grizzlies. No,
you're at home, man.
You have your stars.
No, man. You gotta beat the Mavs, bro. You gotta beat the Mavs.
I understand that, but I just think who needs it more. In terms of, I think Nico Harrison needs it more just to be like, we made the playoffs at least. Like that's more along the lines than Memphis is going to walk out of there going like, look, we fired our coach. We couldn't
you did that to yourself. The Mavs be like, yeah, all our guys got hurt. That's their excuse is we couldn't control that, right? Like, yes, we made this trade, but we couldn't control, like AD got hurt. We missed all these guys. Gafford got hurt. Lively got hurt. Kyrie's out until January. The Grizzlies go, yeah, we fired our coach. What can we do? Not fire your coach.
But here's the thing, though. If you're the Mavs, you're going like, look, we made the playoffs. Now we're going to get our asses completely run over by Oklahoma City. But at least we made the playoffs. And imagine when we have Kyrie. Look, the thing that Nico said, he goes, for 2.5 quarters, you saw our championship roster. We're this close. All that bullshit that he threw
said,
out there.
Unfortunately, that's a small sample size.
Right. But
you know what you don't need? Fire Nico Chance for 2 games in the playoffs. That's what you don't need.
I think that's going to happen.
No one's chanting fire Kleiman in Memphis. No one's doing that.
Yes.
So my biggest takeaway from last night's Dallas sack playing game was that Nico got to watch the game in a chair.
He got a nice seat in Sacramento. Yeah.
He's not allowed to sit in a chair at his own arena.
Now, to be fair, a lot of executives do stand in the tunnel at home. Like that does happen. Rob Pelinka stands in the tunnel for Lakers games at home. Vladdy used to do it at Kings games, although I just think that's Vladdy wanting to get out to smoke a heater whenever he could. I think that was easy access.
RC Buford used to sit in the video room during the playoffs from time to time.
Yeah.
Big games.
Jeff Petrie used to do it.
Yeah, it was, you get a...
Well, I'm pretty sure David Kahn would sit right in this crowd. David Kahn didn't know what the hell he was doing.
He didn't know he was at a basketball game. He was more just like...
I remember him reading a paper courtside at a summer league game. In the small gym.
Oh shit!
Like literally reading the paper, just pull out pages. We lost most camera.
Oh my God! I was just like, bruh. The last time I seen this guy, he was at his home arena, flanked by security.
Yeah, I mean he can't be.
You need security in your home arena, bruh.
It's going to be that way forever too. There's never going to be a point. Because it's not going to work out. It's not going to. Like, I get it. Like, we had the report from Shams that Kyrie, they expect it, think he'll be back in January.
With the Shams stuff. Like, Shams, come on, man.
Let's say that's true.
Kyrie's not coming back full strength in January.
He can come back in January. He won't be good the rest of the season. Like, it's going to be inconsistent. Like, you're missing a season of good Kyrie. You're missing a full season. Like, he'll have his moments, as anyone coming back from an ACL does, but the consistency will not be there because that's just how it works. And furthermore, this isn't going to work out. It's just not.
It's all bad.
And Nico can do the stuff where he's like, I intend to be here the 3 remaining years of my contract. My kids go to school here. All this stuff. Like, dog, I hope you get fired and you can move on. I feel bad for his kids. Like
he's got to take the kids out of Dallas.
They need to be homeschooled.
Yeah,
that's got to be awful.
Like,
I feel bad too is like, I feel sympathetic to Nico on this sense. Obviously, he made the wrong move, but there's this idea of like, if it's a lie, we got to die on this lie. This is a bad
Shout out to white bloggers in 2009, man. Shout out to white bloggers in 2009.
This is a bad, like, it's impossible. Like, it's embarrassing how impossible it is to stand on this. Yo, I'm standing 10 toes on this. Bro, you can't stand with a pinky on this.
But enough about the Quentin Grimes trade. Let's talk about the mistake he made with the Luka trade.
It's tough.
He's so obviously fucked this up, man.
But this is the thing that I would advise is stop talking.
Yes.
Just be in the shadows.
Leon Rose.
Don't even take victory laps when the good stuff happens. Just be quiet for a while.
Zach, I disagree. If you shut up, wait for the Lakers to lose in the first round, and Luka look bad on defense. Oh, I'm holding a press conference.
You're saying what?
You know who I feel?
Look at his fat ass lose. No, you can't say anything.
I just realized now I feel bad for the Mavs video guys, because whenever their season ends, whether it's tomorrow or through the playoffs, they're probably going to have to find clips of Luka's poor defense with the Lakers over and over again. Like, Nico's probably like, put this in a file. Yeah, put this on file and have this ready to go. This is
hire a bot page or a meme page and drop the clips.
Because here's the thing, the dumb thing about this like secret, quote unquote, secret press conference. You're going to have exit interviews pretty soon. Whether that's Saturday, whether that's 2 weeks from now when the series is over, if you make it, like whatever that is, you're going to have exit interviews. So you're going to have all these questions over again.
But the other thing too was this was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago before Luka arrived, according to Tim McMahon. So, and then he got out of it then, and the ownership, he didn't want to talk. Ownership forced this on him of like, no, you have to talk. You have to make, have this press conference and explain.
Which is also dumb. It's also dumb of ownership, man.
Exactly.
Wait till exit interviews, which will be soon. How bad are you at PR?
Can this group continue to own the team? Can this group continue to own the team?
I mean, there's nothing anything can be done.
They're going to build a casino arena.
That's if they can even get the bill through Texas. Texas is just as bad as California. In terms
billionaires.
What could they have to do to get fired? I know racism gets you fired, but does bombing babies in the Middle East get you fired?
It's not racism.
Decades of it does.
It's racism outed on TMZ.
It was in depositions.
No, but only
it was
on
in the
TMZ.
court system.
It was only TMZ because it was. I know, Zach. I worked for the fucking guy. I know. I hid the Quran from him on a plane flight.
Like, no, but here's
the thing. Mo, you brought the Quran on a plane? Like 9/11? That's crazy.
It was a funny joke. It was a funny joke to say it was in the court system. You didn't have to know about it. That's gonna do it for us here on Basketball Illuminati. For proud American Wosny Lambre, for twitch.tv/Mo Dakhil. For Honest Podcaster Zach Harper, keep your third eye open.